All right, we are back with another episode of Ran Out of Talent. How's it going? I'm your host, Joe Zier Jr., and with me is my co-host, Zach Donathan.
Hey
Yeah,
Joe, what's up, man?
yeah. Last episode you were racing, and I had Will Britton on. It was pretty fun just to sit and talk some oval, and yeah. But now, a ton has happened since you and I have done an episode last, because the episode prior, as you can see my team car over here, we
Mm.
had Drew and Dirk on talking about the Vintage Clash coming up at the Hoosier Hobby RC Complex coming up at the end of March. So
It's gonna be here before you know it.
it will be. I have a couple questions for you actually that I meant to ask you beforehand.
Okay.
So if I come do jujitsu at your jujitsu school, do they have showers?
No.
Okay. So I'd have to run to your house then, because I think
hmm
the Airbnb is like an hour away from where you're at.
It's kind of it's probably about a 15-minute detour.
Oh, yeah.
My house, well, one way, so it'd be like half an hour detour.
Yeah, that won't
Um,
be a huge hill. But anyway, so
fair.
yeah, what's new on your end? I see you've been doing some racing and whatnot. Snowbirds have come and gone, and you didn't go to the Snowbirds, did you?
No, I want to, but now that it's another day longer,
Yeah.
it would take me. I would have to do a full 10-day vacation or racing, whatever. I like I want to, but also this is the busiest time of the year,
Right.
and I I'm on schedule to make deadlines, but
Yes.
that doesn't leave me a lot of wiggle room if something happens with like Irie or
Yep.
Mary or whatever. And really, it's not fair to them if I'm gone for 10 days. So you know, it's hard right now. I want to go, but
Yeah, I totally understand. Um, yeah, I've just man, it's a lot of time right in a row. And I've been thinking about that, like, let's say the World's next year in Texas. How many days are you gonna I mean, that's gonna be at least a full 7.
no, you don't have to be there for the whole world.
I'm gonna.
I might do if I can go. I might like come in Thursday and then Saturday or Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday. I might skip out the mains. I don't know,
You gotta stay for the
which
main.
kind of sucks. But like,
But the
I
thing
gotta
is,
be
so
home Sunday night. I don't think I can take the whole week off.
I've been doing the math on it, and the distance to drive to Hoosier is about the same distance to drive to Thornhill for me. Thornhill might be an extra hour just the other direction. If the drive to Hoosier goes well, I'm gonna be bringing all the podcasting equipment and whatnot.
Hmm. Well, depending on the route you take, maybe I'll meet you up
Yeah, no,
down the other.
I go straight down 35, and yeah.
Yeah, but I think I go straight west, and
Okay.
then you tee up,
Yeah.
and that way
S
it's not forever.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I've been running some oval here and there, and man, I'm just missing so at my local track, it's a 5-car A main
Mm.
for a sprint car, and I've just been missing the A main every week. It doesn't matter the crowd. It's that 1 or 2 that one main I sent you that is 83% efficiency. I was only one spot away from making the A main there. It's one less mistake. It's just I think that's why am really digging this oval thing is it's not hard to be like quick, but it's hard to stay super consistent. Um, yeah. So
Okay.
should we get in some notes or?
Sure. Yeah. That sounds good. I'll. Yeah. Let's start it off.
All right. So I have a discussion about switching radios 'cause I've been seeing a lot of pros go back and forth, and you see Dakota go to Fly Sky, you see Ronald Falk leaving Fly Sky. Um Now what I'm thinking is, what about normal guys like us who have to pay for our stuff? Like, I have a dozen Sanwa receivers, but I really want to give that Fly Sky a shot. You know, it's one of those things. Can you really risk it? Are you stuck with Sanwa forever? Because I need a new radio. Joe 3 needs a new radio, but the thing with Joe 3 is he drives lefty, and it's
Mhm.
so much cheaper to get him a Noble Pro than to get him a M17.
Well, why don't you use him as a guinea pig?
I should. I should because
You
I mean,
get. Yeah, I mean, you drive his stuff too, so it's not like you wouldn't get any experience, and then you could get used to the radio, and
right,
then if he likes the radio, we can keep the radio,
right,
and before yours completely wears out.
right. Well, that's hold on. For some reason, my Discord's on in the background and it shouldn't be. Sorry about that, guys. That's what's making the noise. There we go. Um, yeah, that's one of the things. I don't know. What's nice about that Noble is the wheel just swings around super easy. So
That's a super smart idea.
instead of me having to hold his radio upside down and use my pinky finger as a trigger,
I
I
know.
can just, yeah, that's not a bad idea. I should use him as a guinea pig. But I've had my radio since 2018. It's permanently sandblasted. It's not in good shape. It's had a lot of hours. I need a new one.
Well, then buy him. You can probably pick up a used Noble Pro Plus or
Yeah.
even Noble Pro for fairly cheap and get him into it and see if he likes it. And then, you mess around with it, see how it goes. And
Sure. Yeah. Gary's saying he ran some slick concrete oval today. That would be a lot of fun, Gary. Um, I wonder if Gary puts silicone on the tires. Anthony says birds is a good time. You know,
Birds is a great time. I've been there many times.
I somebody there's a rumor going around that they're going to do it like Cleveland, and they're going to have a off-road race the week after.
I don't, I wish Mike great luck because I don't know. I think he should split the week up.
Oval, yeah.
Yeah.
Racecraft Chase checking in. How's it going, Chase? We're going to talk about you in a little bit, but not quite yet. No, I think with the snowbirds, it's gotten a little out of hand. But then think about all the soft years, On-road's coming back, yes. But what about, let's say, 2019 to 2022 when it was a little bit softer turnout?
Right now, this was the weakest year they've had in probably
Really?
15 years. Yeah.
Then
And
why
part
did
of that was to do scheduling conflict. Part of that was the extended trip, and part of it is like just people not traveling as much.
okay.
So it wasn't a great time period for all of that. It just this year didn't work out right. And the added day, I think, really put the final nail in the coffin from my
Sure.
perspective and from what I've heard from other people.
Well, I'll tell you this much. So last year at an INS event at Island Speedway, they decided to add a Wednesday practice. And that not only turned people off, but it pissed off a lot of people. I mean, it ain't because I mean, you're already there Thursday to Sunday, and then you add Wednesday. Chase is saying Zach's bricks look better than my bricks.
Thanks. It's
Yeah.
my wife used to do professional photography, so
Oh.
I got the cool kid set up.
Oh man, there's no like weird nudes of you floating around, is there?
Don't worry about what I do in my spare time, Joe. Okay. I don't ask you what you do in your spare time.
Oh, but
Oh, but I
yeah.
don't want to know. You go left and try to go fast. I know.
Well, not just that. It's
So anyway, um,
well, if they do add off-road and if they make it reasonable, if you do some dumb shit, make it from like Monday to Sunday. If you make it Wednesday to Sunday, kick rocks, dude. It's not going to work out. It's got to be Thursday to Sunday at the most. And you have to limit entries.
Wednesday, pit setup, motor tech. Um,
Yeah, I suppose Motor Tech. I forget about that.
and then I think that's what they do at Champs. And then I don't mod, so like I just show up Thursday night and
Yeah.
and then I think Thursday is the first practice day, and then Friday to like noon is practice, and then Friday is a qualifier Friday evening, and then Saturday the rest, and
Oh,
Sunday
yeah.
mains.
Right. You know, it should be
But
a regular
still,
race program. And if you can't get it done within that time frame, you can't do it.
the people that are going to come to this are from your neck of the woods, from Iowa, from
Yeah.
Michigan, up in the East Coast. It's going to be an easy 12-hour drive for all those people. And I'll tell you, the last thing I want to do after racing all week and being stupid with my friends all week and not getting
Yeah.
enough sleep is
Right.
drive back 12 hours because that
So,
is the worst experience from a race I've ever had. It's a great race, but that drive back sucks.
so for me, Orlando is 23 and a half hours. So
Oh,
that would be a fly one I definitely have to fly to.
yeah.
It's 1,558 miles
It is less than 12 hours for me.
or 23 days of walking. Why do they even put that option on there?
Well, in case you want to get your steps in, Joe.
I can't. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. It'll be interesting. Cav finally made it official with Invisible Speed. He's running the Mayako through Invisible Speed.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think this is an opportunity for JQ and Invisible Speed to really highlight the platform that he's built. Because why I say that is Cab's a really good driver. Don't get me wrong. He beat me every day of the week, no problem. But he has been doing like subpar from what he's 38. He's on the retirement doorstep.
Right.
He's looking to check out at some point. He's not as fast as he was, but we can take the last 3-4 years where he's been on the downslide as a comparison and see what Invisible Speed can do to raise him up to get there. And I mean, really, the question is, does Cav still have the driving ability if he puts in the practice?
He definitely has the driving ability. Now, this is gonna come off way wrong, but he needs to go. I'll be nice about it. He needs to go the route of Ryan Lutz. He really does. He needs to shut his mouth and listen. Shut your mouth and no, you're wrong. Listen to JQ. No, you want to argue? No, you're wrong. Listen to JQ. I
I mean,
mean,
I think it's helpful to understand where people are coming from. Like when
it's
somebody tells me
yeah,
to when I go to somebody to ask for setup help or driving help or something, and
yep,
I ask them more about it, like I'm not trying to be an asshole.
sure.
I'm trying to figure out what what you said makes sense, but I don't understand how to implement it, or I don't
Right.
understand how it works. And so if I'm going to do what you say, but I need to figure out how it's going to work for me, and ultimately if I can take this whatever this nugget you gave me and take it with me down the road to use somewhere else.
I'll tell you what, the moves that Ryan Lutz has made for chassis and tires and all that, and plus adding the invisible speed, I would say going back to Kyosho and adding invisible speed have been the biggest parts of rejuvenating Ryan Lutz's career at the age of 40. You know, kind
Yeah, I
yeah,
think. I mean, I think the Kyosho really fits Ryan's driving style.
yeah,
I think that
absolutely.
was a big help, and I don't know about the invisible speed thing. So I know he's a
It's
part of
been
it, but
huge.
that was like 1 year. He
No,
was maybe a year.
it's
Has
been
it?
2, 3 years.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah,
It's
I would
been a
agree with
little bit. It's been a little bit. Him going back to Kyosho got him back into that mid A main pack.
you.
Him going to JQ or Invisible Speed is getting him back on the podiums. Now, him going to Raw Speed has him fighting for wins. I mean, he's made those correct steps in his career.
Mhm.
Um, and they all work together. It's not just JQ and it's not just Kyosho and it's not just Raw Speed. It's all these steps working in unison, and hopefully Cav can have the same experience. Kai's saying they put the walking directions on because of Forrest Gump. Gary's saying people listen to JQ. You know what, Gary? I'll say this. Take away his social media presence from like 2010 to like until he actually left Facebook and read that Invisible Speed book, you'll learn a lot. There is some excellent information. There's a ton of great information in it. Um, yeah. So he also, since the last time he was on, he went to One Up Team Associated, but that's been going
I
around.
I don't know.
Well,
I feel like if and I don't I feel like if you can afford to hire brand managers and pay drivers professionally as an accessory company, that says some things.
well,
And,
it's
and
all
travel to other races all on
it's
his
all
own
a
time.
big like cooperation thing. One Up as always, well, not always. I'd say in the past 4 or 5 years, they've always had a team associated team, like a sub team. That's where a lot of the stock guys were. Like I want to say Sammy Moran. I'm not sure if Sammy Moran's One Up associated or just associated because I know
Uh,
I think he's One Up because Sammy also runs R1 equipment. And
mhm,
if you're on team associated, you're not allowed to do that.
mm.
So, yeah, it's uh it's a
I don't know.
big I mean, we'll see. I kind of wonder if team associated kicks down a little bit of money.
Maybe if there's probably some agreement, some contingency or something like that.
Right.
I bet there's some kind of business agreement that they have that Randy doesn't do certain things, and in return, Team Associated scratches his back.
Sure, sure. Yeah. Um, there's a new real quick to mention. I forget what it's called, but there's a new oval track in Litchfield, Minnesota. We actually have a couple of listeners that live in Litchfield, Minnesota, so go check that out. Staying on the oval thing, Exotech's coming out with a new sprint car, and this thing actually looks pretty cool. I didn't bring it up because I was working on this thing all the way up until right up to the show.
Oh, are those the arms you dyed?
Yeah.
Those are okay.
Well, the thing is, hold on. The way they are, A, they're ugly when they're white, and B, the second that white hits dirt, it's just nasty. Everybody, did the Rit dye thing back in the day because you leave the white on and it just turns into crap like immediately.
Well, it
So,
also changes the performance of the plastics.
yeah, back in the day, we never went fast enough. I'm kind of curious how it's going to work now because we're putting 17.5s in the car.
Mm-hmm. I feel
Okay.
like 17.5 is probably, it probably should have been like 21.5.
I don't disagree because 17.5 now is like, you could call it like I don't know if you know brush motors, but you could call it like a 14 triple. A 14 triple back in the day would be considered like a 8.5 now, not speed wise, but from stock to mod.
Mm-hmm.
It's that medium. Well, this sucks. I
Well, then I
cannot.
call it medium, but
Yeah.
is an 8.5 for like two-wheel drive buggy or four-wheel drive buggy on a smaller track, like
Yeah.
a not Hoosier side track, is pretty dialed. It's
Right.
fast as you can go. On Hoosier, like an 8.5 might be just a touch underpowered, but it's pretty close. 7.5 is, 8.5 maybe with some boost turbo and timing on the can. I bet it'd probably be good actually.
Sure. Sure. Kai's wondering if we're coming to INS. I'm not. I'm not going to the Michigan round. I think I'm only going to. I'm going to Island, maybe maybe both hobby plexes. We'll see.
I'm not. I'll only be going to the Hoosier Hobbyplex, just because of the location of it. I've got a
You're
print. I don't
also
even know when the race is.
you're also a sponsor of you're a sponsor of the vintage. I don't know if you're a sponsor. It's usually Hoosier Hobbyplex is usually the finale. So I don't
It
know
is.
when was it? December, January, somewhere around there. Oh,
I feel like it
no,
might be.
it's like October. October.
It's September for the finale.
Oh,
I don't know when the Michigan one is, but it's not. I just don't have like this month. I'm not going to any races. Next month I'm going to two races. April
yep.
two races. May only one race, I think.
Mhm.
And then
Aren't you from Michigan?
I'm from Northern Indiana, but like it's
Okay.
pretty. Yeah, like 20 minutes is the state line. So.
Gotcha. Um, yeah, they pretty neat looking track at RC1. I want to get there, but man, I got to choose my battles because I have to save the PTO. Because if Matt goes, "Hey, would you like to do this race?" I want to be able to say, "Yes, I would."
Yeah.
I can't say
Well,
I don't have PTO. Sorry.
and I have, and then in April we're gonna start racing on asphalt again. So I think it's towards the end of April, but so that really, go racing once a month, go to a track
Yeah.
for the business once a month, and like,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
Kai, we're looking at May, so I'll be running the fifth scale by then.
it's just not good timing.
Yeah,
Like, there's too many things to do, and I'm one person. So,
I agree. You know, for me, it's a good problem to have because I have so many races to choose from. I have a flexible job if I have the PTO. You know, I don't work weekends. It's just I have to choose my battles.
mhm.
Um, Kai's saying it's pretty bum Mod didn't get INS. Yeah, you know, I'm bummed as well. I wanted to do more events with Mod with the INS event, but I'll tell you what, Elite RC is attractive is because they're a one-man band. Because you hire Elite, you're going to get Lance as your race director, you're going to get Keenan as your color commentator, you're going to have an excellent photographer, you're going to have an excellent cameraman. So, I mean, Mod is basically the same thing, but they don't have a race director to jump in. And that's kind of the whole turn off thing. And also,
Well,
I don't know if it saves some money, but Elite drives to every event.
yeah. Well, they have Lance already has all the stuff because he's been doing it for so long. So he's got
Right.
2 or 3 campers or trailers or what, I don't know,
Yeah.
whatever, to sleep in. And so that really helps. Plus the vehicles to tow them. And Lance does a really good job at as being the race director.
Yeah.
And I've been to probably like 10 of his events now, and they're pretty solid.
Yeah.
It's hard to even say like, well, he wasted 30 seconds. Like, that's the thing I have to complain about.
Right.
So,
And yeah, I enjoy Lance as well. It's like at least in I'll say an equal company got it, not a lesser company. Now, if Live RC got it, we
I
might
feel
have.
like Live RC has got some. I'm sorry, Joe. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I
Oh, you're fine.
feel like compared to Mod and Elite, I feel like Elite has a slight edge on Mod just because they have Lance as the race
Right,
director.
right.
But like, if Matt got a good race director, they would be equal. Like, that's not a diss on Matt. It's just
No,
kind of like they offer different things, and that's cool. Like, that's how you compete. You know.
well, that's the thing. You know, I'm a I'm going to say I'm a damn good race director myself. And Matt is a good race director. But the thing about it is, one of us has to be in the broadcast booth. And when Matt's not helping me with some of the pro races, he is running around like a chicken with his head cut off, working his butt off. And that's just how it is. I'm hoping to have him on actually because I wanted to have him on again to talk about the Clash, but yet I want to talk to him about he's opening up a brick and mortar mod.
Yeah, the pro shop.
That actually is pretty cool.
I've been following it a little bit on social media.
Yeah, I'm kind of pumped about that because it's like he's like, yeah, I've been wanting to do it since OCRC closed, and he's had it in his sights, and he's finally doing it.
He
And
was supposed to do it last year, and I don't know what happened exactly, but he's really doing it this year. He's got the ball rolling.
yeah, man. I mean, life happens, you know, your weekends get filled up, your weeks get filled up, and yeah,
Yeah,
it
I don't understand how he has time to do all this stuff.
he doesn't sleep, I don't think.
Yeah, good for him.
Because
I don't think he
I
has kids, does he?
no.
And his girlfriend works with him, yeah?
Yeah, his girlfriend works with him at a lot of them. His girlfriend, now fiance, is a
Oh.
teacher, so she's around when she can be.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, during the school year and whatnot, what's cool, I don't know. What's cool is he flies Southwest. He's got so many miles that Megan gets to come with him for like $10, literally $10,
Good for him.
just because of all the flying he does.
That's cool.
Guy says Matt's immortal. Yeah, I stayed at the Airbnb with the whole mod crew and with Sammy Moran, and I'll tell you this much. I've never gotten so little of sleep in my life. But it worked out well. One more oval thing that this one shocked the hell out of me. There was some silly season in the oval community. Tyler Hooks leaves
Oh yeah.
Team Velocity and goes to GFRP. Now, don't get me wrong, GFRP is a very established brand.
Mhm.
But Velocity's coming out with that new car, and he had that new car. And everybody who has that new car is dominating with it. So I don't know. Do you think because Hooks is quick? I mean, he's really fast on the oval. I wonder if
Yeah.
he might be getting a paycheck with GFRP.
Maybe, and he did well at the Chili Bowl with GFRP.
I want to say he was still on Velocity.
Oh, was he? He did well at the Chili Bowl. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he did. I mean, maybe he. I don't remember his situation anymore. But he worked for Live RC, and then I
Yep.
think he quit full time. I think he does. He does the articles like when I send in news. He
Yeah.
publishes it. But I don't know what all he's doing there. And I think he's still working for J Concepts. But he's going to a lot of races. Actually, Tyler, I bet Tyler would be great on the interview. He's super interesting.
Because I don't see him doing too much off road anymore.
Right. And maybe we all get that bug, and he's getting older now. So like
Yeah.
he's got that old guy oval bug.
He's not that old yet.
I know, but he's like my age.
Yeah, I didn't get the oval bug until I was 41. Because I'm going to be 43 this year.
You gonna break a hip this year or what?
I'm working on it, dude. I have my left hip pops like crazy, and my left groin has been pulled for about 4 weeks now, and it hurts like hell. So, getting old. That's really interesting.
Important, dude.
Yeah.
Aging's important.
I know. But yeah, it's really interesting with Tyler. I know notoriously oval pros, quote unquote pros, do not get paid. I wonder if he broke that barrier.
He could, yeah, but I bet just like this Fly Sky thing, I bet it doesn't take a whole lot of money to get a pro on board. Like $500 a month plus free product.
That would be so cool.
And then maybe some contingency or something like that. If like it's, it wouldn't take. I don't think it would take that much. But at the same time, maybe it's a role he wanted to take on, like a development role or a brand ambassador role or something like that can be a paying role. And he's really quick on the oval. It might be travel. Maybe he's getting travel money.
That would be nice.
Yeah, see, there's a lot of things you can get without or a lot of things you can add and do that are value added things that to get paid for that aren't just race related.
Right.
And he does a really good job with social media stuff. So
yeah.
Maybe he's doing some of that for him.
I've met him a couple times too. He's also a nice dude. He's a funny guy. He's not, the dude has like zero about him that's like standoffish. You meet some guys and they're kind of he's a really good guy.
He is. He's quiet. That's like the only, like you have to go talk to him, but if you go talk to him, he'll talk to you.
Absolutely. Um, Worlds. They're going to be at Thornhill, from what I've
Is
heard.
it? Oh man, wow.
Well, which will be nice because it's covered.
Right. So it can't get rained out. It's near Austin, right? Austin,
Yeah, it's
Texas.
like 45 minutes out of Austin.
So we went to the last one at the pay to was
Yep.
45 minutes like southeast of Austin.
Yep.
And it was really cool. We got to drive by the Circuits of America. We did nothing else because there was we there's nothing out there. But Austin's cool. And so if you wanted to go do something, it's not too far away to do that. And Worlds, well, if it's like on-road Worlds, then it's pretty chill. Joe, did you leave that thing plugged in?
Yeah, my phone hit it.
I just
So
yeah.
I like Thornhill. I like the HRCR facility a lot more. They got,
Okay.
because they're one of the best facilities overall in the country with their hobby shop, their track, their track. It's outdoor, but I think it beats the hell out of Thornhill. I really do.
Okay. Yeah, I've not been to either of them, so
I've watched a lot of races at, both. And it's kind of like how Spain, how nothing really in the United States compares to the track in Spain.
Mhm.
It's one of those things. The problem with Idaho is what I heard, it's kind of hard to get to the track. And I also heard it's expensive to get there just in general. But one thing that pissed me off, and this could be a rumor, but I heard IFMAR picked Thornhill, something to do with the nightlife of it.
I feel like that could be a legitimate thing.
That should,
Well, I
there
think it
should
should.
be, you should see, is there a hotel and is there a restaurant, and anything outside of that. Yeah.
So no, I think there's a whole list of stuff that you go through, like accessibility to the track from a good airport.
Right.
Not a puddle jumper airport.
Yeah.
Although, like sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Hotel accommodations and whatnot. Where are they at in relation to the track as well as the expense?
Sure.
Food, that's important too.
It
And then you
is.
have, so you have like the amenities to get like that you need at the track. So you've got, the track itself. How close is like lunch spots or something like you can go grab for lunch, or does the track have lunch?
Right.
Hobby shop, the track itself. I'm sure there's some other things that I wouldn't consider, and then you have the possibility of weather being outside. So like,
Right.
so
That's
there's
huge.
that. And then at Worlds in California, we ended the day, quite a few of the days pretty early.
Mm-hmm.
Now it got dark out because it was in late November, but it's just going to be, early enough in the year that the sun's not going to go down. It's going to be warm.
I want to say it's going to be later in the year. I want to say usually the A scale of Worlds falls around that September.
Yeah, but that's still really nice in Texas.
Oh, it'll be very nice. It looks like Joey commented, but it's blank.
Oh, it's a wave. It's like a.
Oh, yeah, I don't see it on this end. I agree with everything you said, except for Nightlife should have never been brought into it.
I no, I think it should. I
I
think
don't.
that's one of the things
I
that is
think.
part of it.
I think. Okay, don't get me wrong. Both tracks are extremely capable of handling the worlds, but the one and only argument about Thornhill, and all they had to say was, it has a roof. That's it. I mean,
I don't think the nightlife should be the deciding factor, but I think it's like if we're adding up points, it's 1 point.
okay, I'll give you that.
Covered roof, maybe 5 points.
Yeah.
Like it's not like the whole thing, but it might be enough to like tip the scale. If you're tight, you're looking at 25 and 25, and then
Yeah.
nightlife 1 point, 26. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man.
I'm not saying that so when you go to like big events, it doesn't matter the event. You go
Right.
and you have downtime at the event. So you go, what do you want to go have a beer? You want to have a good restaurant. I don't know anything about Idaho, but I know in Austin there's a bunch of good restaurants, and
Oh yeah.
if you want to go out, there's like a million bars,
Sure.
and or whatever you want to do as a racer. There's other things to do as well as racing. So like you want to play golf, or bull, or I don't even know, go race go-karts. Like there's other
Right.
things to do besides go race. And I do think that plays a role, but I don't think, again, I think it's worth 1 point. And I think a covered roof is worth 5 points.
The covered roof is, to me, if you're going to ask me, to me, the covered roof is everything.
Yeah. See, I mean, that's if it, it's going to be the difference between can we race today or not?
Right. I've been to Vegas for Silver State for fifth scale, to where I have a ton of downtime. I don't know if it's the racer in me or if I'm just a fucking psychopath. During the majority of my downtime, I wrench. I find something to wrench. I mean, I spent all that money to get there. I'm not even thinking. There's a freaking nightclub at the casino we race at.
I feel like part of that's the people you go with and how you want that event to go.
Well, that's
like when I went to champs, I raced one class and there were like 55 heats or something like that.
Sure.
So like I didn't do complete teardowns because I didn't send my car off the track every time, but I did send it off the track once, and I did do a down to the bulkheads teardown. I checked the chassis, I checked the clamps, all the stuff that you would check. But if I just had, I went and practiced, go set up, go double check everything on the car's fine, check screws, check setup. Okay, great. I got 45 races.
Sure.
Until I'm on the track.
Right.
That's like 6 hours or something like that. What am I going to do?
I want to say with ace scale, there's only the one class. And I want to say that it's like 25 or 30 heats, which is still a lot of time. That's a ton of time. I want to say that's like 4.5, 5 hours around there.
But you can go get lunch.
No,
You're not stuck at the track. As long as you don't have to like fully rebuild your car, you can go get lunch, or you can go play some top golf, or go axe throwing, or do whatever in between. And like you have people coming in from all around the world to go race.
Yeah.
And maybe the last IFMAR we had, last World we had here, that was one of the things that racers complained about. There was no things to do outside of the track. We don't know.
Okay. Yeah, and maybe that's just me as well, because the first year I went to Vegas, I went by myself, basically. And the second year I went to Vegas, we had a Minnesota crew doing the fifth scale. And I pitted with them and hung out with them and talked to them. And we actually went out like the first practice night. But after that, man, I'm just head down in the truck working the whole time.
Yeah, and I feel like I steel man like the argument of why
Sure.
like a nightlife's important, but I don't like I for me a gas station and a couple friends is sufficient to a good time. Like
Yeah.
we'll get a 6 pack of beer, we'll hang
Yep.
out, talk some shit, and we're here to race, but that doesn't mean we don't have to have a good time. I would like some decent food. I don't want to eat McDonald's all week or
I
whatever.
know, but it does get gross. Schweisberger checking in. One of my favorite tracks was in a little town called Chillicothe in Missouri. And the guy who owned the track literally owned half the town. When I say he owned half the town, the railroad tracks split the town and he owned one side. So what we did was we parked my car at the track, and then the gas station across the street sold hard liquor, and we would drink and race, and we pitted an area to where we could smoke cigarettes. That's when I smoked cigarettes. That's how long ago it was. And then you would walk to the bar that had $7 pitchers of Jack and Coke, and then you'd walk to the hotel room.
Oh.
That used to be a great time. Now I think about that and I want to vomit.
It's a little much. Yeah, when you're young, you're young.
When you're 23 years old, oh man, it's the best.
That's right there, perfect time.
Yeah. Cam checking in. Alex says chilly nightlife was always crazy. Yeah, Alex went to more of those races than I did. Dude, it's
MB gets rowdy.
I don't know how I lived. I don't know how I sobered up enough Sunday to drive home.
I know. I think we all know at some point.
Yeah.
If you have ever like had friends that like to drink, we all know.
So I didn't go to college.
Oh.
So Alex got alcohol poisoning at the 2001 regionals. Yeah, 100%. I can see that happen. I bet you got it on like Friday afternoon too. It's one of those things. I didn't go to college, not bragging or anything. But going away to these RC events without my dad was kind of like my college experience. When I first started going by myself at the age 18, 19, around there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm surprised. I think about some of it and it's like, I'm still alive. Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Alex saying his Friday night before qualifying is effing stupid. I agree. We were all dumb back then.
We've all done stupid stuff. I mean, it's just
especially in Chillicothe, though. If you were Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, Dakota, any of those guys, Missouri, you have a Chillicothe experience, and it was hell. But the track was awesome. The track was so much fun. That was another thing. Jacob asked if we're going to RC1. I am not. Zach is not.
Doesn't work in the schedule. So let's get on to this thing CRC posted.
Oh, jackasses, all of them, just arrogance, pure arrogance. So basically they said they started posting people raving about their carpet. First off, CRC said that they found somebody to make the Gen 1 black carpet. Cool. It was great carpet. But then they started going off about just all of it. Like there was never a problem. Dude, their carpet is a massive problem in the off-road. In off-road, it's a massive problem. It's very inconsistent with touring car. Very.
It depends on the so you have different generations and then you have
Yes.
different batches in that generation and they're all different.
I
So
I can say if you bought it in 2023, it is extremely inconsistent
that
for
was probably the worst one.
yeah, for a touring car. I should be specific because
Foam
I
tire
have
was good.
huh?
Foam tire was good. 12 scale.
Yeah. Yeah, foam tires okay. Foam tires, if the pile is low enough, you can run a foam tire on anything, I believe. But that's the thing. They go onto Facebook and they're like, "Yeah," and then one of our local guys, Keith, they go, "Hey, can you run off-road on it?" They said, "Well, not with the pin tire." Yeah. Cam makes a good point. He says people quit. People quit racing, not just quit the track. They quit racing because of that carpet.
I feel like there needs to be some delineation between like CRC on road carpet and then like and then in I don't know if it is. I haven't looked at their webpage, but then it's like specifically for on road. You can use it for off road. It's not recommended. And if you use it for off road, we recommend a slick or a foam tire, which is what, like, for example, the lower level does.
Yeah.
And people complain about the no pin tire thing. I don't really understand it because we never ran pin tires. Like my whole racing career as a
Yep.
carpet um off-road racer was on either rubber or foam tires
Sure.
that
Sure.
were all slicks. We didn't have like and so I don't know about that. I didn't look into this, but to say that and then to say there's no problems with it is the issue I have. I think this latest batch is pretty good. I think some of the other batches were better. Other generations were better. I don't think Gen 1 was the best because the grip was so high.
Yeah, the grip
Um,
was insane with Gen 1.
yeah, and I think this generation's pretty good, but it gets greasy. And nobody likes that greasiness with the
No.
current tires we have. And like maybe the Jayco Green for touring car, but I haven't run on Jake. Like nobody really runs Jayco Green around where I race.
Yeah, I was gonna
So
say, doesn't almost everybody in the touring car community run Gravity or Sweep?
it's mainly gravity. The sweep is more, excuse me, asphalt.
Yeah.
Um, and I think like the gravity tire lasts forever.
Right.
Dude, I bought one set. I used two sets of champs. I
Mhm.
bought three sets. I had one brand new set I hadn't ran at all. And I finally broke it out because I glued tires at champs, and this was an unglued set.
Yep.
And I broke it out to run this last Friday. I ran probably 30 packs on Friday and
What?
probably 30 packs maybe. So, all right, let's say it's 15. I ran 30 or 3-minute runs.
Oh, that
Um,
makes more sense, yeah.
sorry.
No.
So 15 runs on Friday, maybe plus the race, which is like 4. So
Mm,
19. And then on Saturday, maybe 10 with the racing. I didn't get a ton in, but I got most of what I needed to on Friday.
right.
And so like that, I'm going to run those tires at King of the Road if I can.
Yeah,
If it's not required to buy new tires, and they're still going to be good after that. Like
sure.
it's one $30 set of tires and it lasts forever.
So
Now, the
go
Jayco
ahead.
Blues we used before, which were equivalent to the Gravity Type Cs, I like what Paul has done with the new tire and the new rim and the new foam. The tire itself is the same, minus the one badge that he had a problem with, but
Yeah.
stuff happens. The Jayco Blue, from my memory, only lasted like 10 runs.
Okay.
And the first two were not good, and the last two were not good.
So you get maybe one good practice and then a full race day out of them.
Yeah, which is fun. But when you got a tire like the Gravity, who, albeit like, if you do a Jayco Blue versus the Gravity now, they're probably about the same. Back then, the Gravities were slower, like 3 or 4 tenths laps slower. Okay. But again, they lasted forever. So, like, who cares?
Yeah. So now I want to talk to you about the off-road side. Okay. So the problem with slicks on the off-road is because those front tires wear down so freaking fast. So fast. 2-3 runs. They're junk. With our current market, with two-wheel buggy. With the way the current tires are, people have tried different compounds, all that stuff. They just don't last. Foams last forever. The problem with the foams are you have one manufacturer that is a one-man band. You have two? Because
so you have Gone Bananas.
The only one I know is Gone Bananas.
I think BSR did some, and now Locked In.
Okay.
I just saw Locked In. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Go ahead.
No, but I was just saying, with the current, I mean, it's so hard to beat it when you have J Concepts makes awesome carpet tires. Schumacher makes an awesome carpet tire. Proline used to make an awesome carpet tire, but I don't know if it's awesome anymore. But you also have a whole bunch of brands. You can have any flavor of tire you frickin' want for your carpet off-road tire. And if you're smart about it, they'll last a long time. Because, so next time I run carpet off-road, I'm putting a brand new pair of fuzz bites on all my vehicles. For that race day, I will not sauce them. Then the next 2 race days after that, I will sauce them and get the rest of the life out of them. But if you start saucing them immediately, they'll balloon.
So, I mean, I ran rubber tire slicks.
Yeah.
And it wasn't at a high level, but I was the fastest two-wheel drive buggy. This was the B42. So,
yeah, that's different, man.
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
But the Panther, I don't know, carpet tire with the red AKA slicked or insert, excuse me, did pretty good. And I did 2 sets.
Yep.
One a season.
That was so long ago.
It was. So things are different. I get it. But also, like, I feel so we don't run. There's faster touring car tires that don't last as long and are more expensive. But we've kind of all come to like a gentleman's agreement that like we don't need to be running the Sorex 28 with the special foam on the special rim and like 3 running tires that are 2 or 3 tenths a lap faster than like a Gravity, because it's just not like, nobody wants that. And there's all sorts of variations out there, but I feel like off-road could come to a similar conclusion.
So Jacob's thinking, do you think compound ruins the carpet? I do not. With the compound doesn't wreck the carpet. I think
incorrect.
I don't think it does. I think a mixture of the pins and the compound on the black carpet might. Alex is saying Hobbyplex is done racing carpet off-road after they get the new carpet this spring. It was a tough decision to make, but they can't justify the damage done to the carpet. You know, Alex, 1, I don't disagree with you. 2, you have a phenomenal frickin' track, clay track that it took years to figure it out. But when you finally figured out that you can run slicks on that track or how to keep it going to where you can run slicks on that track, I mean, it's awesome.
So back to the compound thing. Um, Mixing certain sauces
Mm-hmm.
will ruin the grip in the track. I don't know forever, but a very long time.
Sure. No, you're right about that. And that's the thing
Um,
too. You got a speck of sauce.
yes. So, and I don't know it because I've been to numerous events where this has happened, and we're all supposed to be using SXT, the regular one,
Right.
and for some reason the carpet didn't like any other sauce mixture. So, like if you're running SXT and somebody used Paragon, just as an
Yeah.
example,
Yeah.
that dude using Paragon is gonna be lights out fast, and the rest of us are gonna be screwed because
Right.
he's now made the track slick for everybody else.
Right. Right. And that's the thing
Um,
too. I've been learning this with dirt as well. If you spec a sauce with dirt, do whatever you want at home. You can't police what people do at home.
you can.
But you not I mean, you can, but at scale.
Just be a gentleman's. It's get the racers together. Like, hey guys, like let's not have
Yeah.
a sauce war. Let's not mix diesel and liquid wrench. Like, let's use something like semi-healthy.
Yeah.
It's 1/10 a lap faster. It doesn't destroy tires. Yada yada yada.
But
Um,
what I notice that, let's say if everybody uses, I'll throw a sauce out there, TDK. Everybody uses TDK Gen 2. And you will get better grip than if one guy's using liquid wrench and one guy's using sticky kick purple, one guy's using PB blaster, one guy's using whatever. You got, instead of having 15 different guys using 15 different things, everybody uses one thing, the overall grip will be better for everybody. And I just realized I sound like a damn communist saying that.
I to a point, like so is the fire department. So so
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, it's true though. I mean, at carpet tracks, it's never a big deal. It's never a big deal. We're always SXT 3.0 or some do TDK. Jacob's wondering, if I could pick a carpet, what would it be? There's a company that has the EOS formula they're out of Florida or Georgia. They're in the dirty South somewhere, that they've sold EOS carpet to Dollar Hobbies and they've sold it to RC Underground. And I love it. I really love it. It's thick, it's consistent. You don't need sauce as much. It's awesome. The stuff at Dollar right now is just awesome for off-road. So yeah. Cam saying Dollar's carpet is good. But and that's the thing too, though. We shouldn't even be having this discussion because, okay, the crap, I don't even know what generation it was, but the CRC carpet that Dollar got in 2018 held up fine to pin tires. Dark Moon is wondering, are the carpet fibers as tall as the? It's pretty tall. It's got a pretty thick and tall pile to it. It is an off-road only carpet. I would not run on-road on it. And what Dollar does is, they just put it directly over the black stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's way thicker and taller than CRC. It's, I would say triple. I would say, if not more. It's way more. But it works so well with off-road. I'm so impressed. So, sorry. Carpet tangent.
How do you think the new TC 7.2 will do.
Oh, God damn it. God. Okay. So, as you can see, I'm a team associated guy. I really am. I'm a team associated guy. I've been trying to make sense of some of the things they do. They've done now 3 things in the past 2 years that made me go, who the hell is making these decisions? Because they are not good. It's either a really young kid with some kind of influence that behind the scenes, or it's somebody at Thunder Tiger that has no finger on the pulse of America whatsoever.
I think it's some. Actually, I think it's pencil pushing. I think
Uh,
they.
I'm saying come to the dark side. Not yet. I signed for 2025, so I will be with AE because I honor my contracts. I'm not one of these punks that jump. If you're a privateer, jump around. Believe me, I've done it plenty. But if you sign a contract for the year, you stay for the year, you promote the product for the year, the best to the best of your ability. I mean,
Yeah, no, I think you're right. So, but I don't. So what I think is, I think it's somewhere in between. I think there's, you got this young kid who doesn't really understand what's going on. You have a boss saying, we have to get this shit out of the warehouse,
yep.
and we have all this money tied up in this stuff. The accountant's telling you, and so you have, all these people that are doing this, and then they have then they re-released the 7.2. I think it's just old inventory that they're trying to sell at a higher price than when it originally came out.
Sure.
They probably had to redo or run a couple parts out of, but I bet it's to just get some money back out of the train wreck that was the TC7 series.
Yeah, because the original, when the TC7 came out, it was competitive out of the box with those current vehicles.
For
And
about 3 months.
yes. By the time the Point 2 came out, we had 3 guys in Minnesota running it. We had Kendall, you probably don't know any of them, Kendall Welch, Eric Swanson, and maybe Rob Love.
Rob wasn't on it.
Rob might have been on it at that time because he was living in Minnesota at that point too. But he wasn't on it for long. But all 3 of those guys each had a different conversion kit of some kind to make that car good. And that's when the car was brand new.
Yeah, well, it was right. I feel like that was like 19, and the TC2 was, or 20, maybe somewhere right in there when
It was like
X-Ray was doing the
19.
mid-motor thing.
Yeah.
And then it was Automatics had the MMX that was killing it.
Yeah.
That just destroyed for 4 years, maybe
Yeah.
5 years. There was
Right.
a time where no, excuse me, the 8,
Was it the 700?
no, well, yeah, but the MMX 800, when they got the ADC caps and something else, I can't remember what one of the
Is that
tuning
when they went
parts.
from drive shaft to belt?
It was the next, no, so the A800 rear motor, and then the next one, the MMX. So I
Okay.
want to say it was like 17. They
Mhm.
somewhere around there they released the car, and then 18 to 23 just killed it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm honestly surprised but happy that other companies caught up.
I feel like Automatics right now is a little bit lost. I think the 800R is their TC 7.2. If I
Sure.
can say it like that. I
Yeah.
feel like the MMX is still like a better car, somehow I don't. It just doesn't like for me. I'm not trying to bash the 800R or
No,
Osmatics. But I just feel like it didn't really like the MMX worked really good for me. And that setup Sam had, I don't know what magic that was, but it was just magic. You could take that car to any track and change like three things, and it was on fire.
right.
And this
So,
is so weird. But then you get to the 800R, and like it's not really great on some asphalt tracks. It doesn't suit my driving style, and I feel like the there are other people barking at the door, and like so that maybe the 800R is a little bit better, but then you have like X-Ray, Mugen, now
mhm.
Infinity, Associated, like they're
That new
all right
RC
there
Maker
or
car.
coming up.
That
RC
new
Maker.
RC Maker car, that's gonna do something. I really
I
think
don't
it's
think
gonna do
this.
something.
So it's got two directions it can go.
Yeah.
It has Automatics or Mugen. Okay,
Mhm, mhm.
so the Mugen, the MT whatever.
MCT3, the new one.
Well, the first
Okay.
one when they came out, it was pretty
Yep.
good. So that's the SP1, right? MC MCTC2 came out and it was really good for like again 3 months, and then everyone dropped their new cars and it wasn't good anymore because they were
Right.
competing on old tech, if you will. And so depending on what RC Maker does with the second car is going to determine how they move. So
Sure.
Osmatics had the 700 and like I'm sure 100 versions of that car. Then they had the 800, and that
Mhm.
was pretty good. That was a step forward. That was a step in the right direction. And then they had the MMX, the third car. And so I feel like they can. It really depends. I mean, Ryan's got his finger on the pulse, and so we'll see what happens. Kyle, Klingforth, designed the TC8. I talked to him a little bit about it at Worlds, like we talked about before.
Yep.
It's supposed to be releasing anytime now. I
You
think it's like
know,
April,
and
maybe.
that's the thing. The TC 7.2 Clear Edition made total sense, kind of as
Mhm.
a marking of
Yeah.
them coming back to the on-road world. But now the regular TC 7.2, fuck it. I who can defend it?
It's not a good car, and nobody. It's not like it's 20 years from now and they're re-releasing it.
Right. Right. So Jeremiah says it sounds like they're running 10 scale pan cars this summer. Oh, the Tamiya ones. He's wondering, is there going to be outdoor off-road parking lot again this year? Yes, Jeremiah, there will be. We'll talk about that at a later date. Dark Moon is saying AMX cars have updated part out all the time, more so than other cars, it seems. Well, that's a good thing. Well, it seems that good that they keep trying and updating and, you know.
So the main thing. So I mean, I ran AMX all last year, and they had a
Yep.
couple that came out, but the car was brand new. So like, it's kind of one of those things that the car was brand new, and they're trying stuff to get it to work because it's not working how they want it to work. Is
Mhm.
essentially, if you will, the chassis, um, the steel chassis thing, a huge
Yeah.
fumble, and then a fumble, and then another fumble, like it's a football.
Right.
And you produce 20 steel chassis kits when, like, how about you just save up, I don't know, 100, 200, because I don't like that's associated level TC2. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what they're doing is what they used to do a lot back in the day is, hey, these top guys get this and nobody else does it, but they're putting it in your face.
excuse me. Yes. I'll be right back, Joe.
Yeah. So, anyways, a couple more things Team Associated has done that it's like, why? The B6.4 Clear Edition, that's kind of like a why scenario. I do like the RC10 Clear. Don't get me wrong. If you're building a shelf queen, that RC10 Clear Edition is pretty cool. But that green RC10 they came out with, and nobody's been able to give me a straight answer why. Why that, like, almost like a monster green chassis that has absolutely nothing to do with Associateds back in the day. It would be cool if, so I don't know if it was a powder coat or a paint that they did, or an e-coat. They had like pink, like a neon pink, a neon green, a neon orange, and potentially a blue. Alex has one. Awesome. Has one of what, Alex? Which RC10? But they were rare. Those powder coated chassis back in the day, when somebody had one of those, even if the dude was a hack, you always took a double take. It's like, ooh, that's pretty. You know, I always like that unique stuff. That green one, though, I've been trying to make sense of it in my head. And they did some cool stuff with it, like they put the J. Halsey front wheels and tires on it, but I've talked about it a bunch. Oh, Alex has a powder coated Associated chassis. Those things were money back in the day. Oh, you have the clear. That's awesome. Yeah, that RC10 Clear Edition's a pretty cool shelf queen. I've heard of people actually trying to run them. I'm like, why? As you can see right here, this is not going to be a shelf queen. This is going to be my vintage car for Hoosier and maybe Las Vegas, if I go to Vegas for that, because Team Associated is going to have a vintage race in October, and Masami's going to be in that one. So that's pretty cool.
So what we have Beach RC moving.
Oh yeah. Beach RC, that one doesn't baffle me, but it does. Brent is a dollars and cents kind of guy. And I look at Beach RC as number 2 online hobby store behind A-Main Hobbies. I bet you they have surpassed Tower Hobbies at this point. Would you think so?
I would put them in that category. I don't know. I mean, A-Main's killing it. I think you got A-Main, you got Amazon.
Amazon's tough to beat.
I think you have Walmart in there for third.
Somewhere. Do you think Walmart's in there? Because
I think Walmart's but so okay.
If you go to Walmart, I remember Walmart was selling
online.
Yeah, but Walmart online, because it's third-party sellers from Walmart online, I believe you can buy some really weird stuff on there. And they were selling cars at a ridiculous price, like oh crap, my car fell. But like whatever generation 22, when they first started doing it, I think it was like the 2.0, they were selling it for like $700 for a rolling chassis. They were doing that kind of crap.
You know, I think you have to put, so you got A-Main, Amazon, eBay.
Yes.
Because of the heritage of eBay, and it's been there so long, people still go there to buy stuff. And you know, people buy a lot of RC stuff off eBay. So
don't forget,
I think you have that.
Yep. Don't forget, A-Main has an eBay store, and they also have an Amazon store.
You have to.
I bet Beach does too. I've never looked for Beaches. I like, if I buy something from Beach, I buy it straight from Beach. But they're moving it. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, it's really, if you have, so to sell that stuff on Amazon, it's a giant pain in the ass. If you've ever tried to set up a store on Amazon and you have a unique part number that it's like not registered on Amazon yet, good luck.
Yeah.
The back end of their website is the biggest turd I've ever used in my life. I set up my eBay store in a day. I set up my Etsy store in the day. I'm 2 years into my Amazon store. 2 years.
Yeah. That's wild. I didn't even know you had an Amazon store. Oh, real quick, Jeremiah's saying, find me a bunch of old double XT parts and I'd consider coming to that race too. Well, Jeremiah at Hoosier RC Hobbyplex, Eddie Henley has plenty of them. Also at RC Car Kings, where I bought some vintage stuff this weekend, they have old vintage parts as well. Derek Relaford checking in from Bedroom Radio. He's wondering, do you tell your wife the actual price of the stuff you order, or do you knock some stuff off? Well, I kind of used to do magical math back in the day. And then for my birthday, a couple times, she bought me a kit here or there, or she bought me a fifth scale for my 40th birthday. So she knows how much the boxes are that are coming to the house now.
Yeah. No, I mean, business.
Yeah.
So
It's a write-off for you, man.
Yeah, and my wife did some practice. She never raced, but she did some practice.
Yes.
And so we got her touring car because we did the off-road thing, we did the on-road thing, and she liked touring cars. Probably because that's what I raced. But so I told her that we could get her a touring car, but she had to rebuild the car with me.
That's it.
No, that wasn't a problem at all. She loves building that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And we didn't go crazy into it, but I was like, look, if I'm racing or if I'm up next and your car's broke and you need help, I'm not going to be able to help you.
Good.
There's just, I got to get my car ready and get down to rate. So you got to get started, be able to take it apart, start putting it back together. I'll help you, no problem like that. But it's just, you got to, so we built the whole car and she did really good in practice. She was honestly really good.
Mm-hmm.
She would be on the left side of the track. Somebody put a car down on the right side of the track. Progress 0.
Really?
Dude, any wall that was available, bang, bang, bang. I'm like, what? You just doing great.
What happened?
Yes. And so we just, I think I have a transponder, maybe a couple tools or something left out of her stuff, but so she doesn't race anymore. And I don't know.
Cam's got a point. He says, just do another motorsport for a while, then go back to RC. She'll think RC's cheap. He's correct. Very correct.
That's true.
So anyways, back to beach. So basically, Brent says it doesn't make financial sense to stay in the building he's in now.
I bet it doesn't, because I bet
he's not Myrtle Beach.
I don't understand how. But anyway, I bet properties the area that's hot changes over time. So eventually, and then I don't the maintenance cost goes up for inflation because you got to pay the maintenance guy more. You got to pay the parts cost more, and everything costs more over time. I get it.
Yeah.
Shit doesn't quadruple in 4 years.
No.
So that's a whole. I don't know what even to call that, but that's some bullshit. I don't know if that's exactly what happened to him or not, but that happened to a variety of tracks, and so they moved to a similar location for a similar price that they were paying.
Right.
In the area, and it's might be a half-hour difference, but it's closer for some guys, farther for some. And it's just how it is. If you want to move the track, then if you want to keep having a track, chances are you're going to have to deal with this unless you own the property that it's on.
Yep. So the thing is, I live in my hometown. Okay. I've moved around here and there and lived other places, but I always end up I'm in my hometown. When we moved here back in the late 80s, it was the cheap place. We were 30 miles, we're 30 miles northwest of Minneapolis, big city. You know, you would think that, you know, that's close enough to the cities to be like, oh, this town used to be so cheap. Everything used to be so cheap and so simple. Then the damn yuppies came in and they wrecked it. And now again, the next town is 20 miles west if you want to do anything. Cam's town he lives in. I believe he lives in I don't want to say he doesn't want to probably, but the town Cam lives in, when I started RC racing in that town in 2006, freaking nothing. You could have bought a house there for 50 grand. Now you can't. Now you can't smell a quarter-acre property there for 50 grand because it's blown up so much.
That's how Louisville is.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of those things. Yeah, and I bet he's caught in one of those freaking things.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. We've considered we're not going to stay here. So we're in Louisville city limits, and
yeah. Oh, you're actually in the city limits
by like this much, but yeah.
Okay.
But our house is like not doubled in value, but it's getting close. We bought it in 19.
Yeah.
Like and that's just off of like an estimate. And
sure.
If they come in here and because I've done a lot of work and like we replaced the water here and the HVAC and the heat pump and finished a lot of it and we've done a lot of stuff on top of that to make it nice, and we're gonna get new appliances this year and just like all sorts of things we've done. And like the properties around us are going for such a ridiculous price. And I thought what we paid for the house we bought was ridiculous to begin with. And now it's gone up even more. And I'm like, we want to move south, get like some acres and a bigger house. And we're going to pay probably the same or less than what we're paying now for this house. But it's a really, it's a really great starter house and we have really great neighbors and it's in a good location and all that stuff. But it was kind of, and when we moved here originally, it was for Mary's work. And appliances is pretty close here.
Right. Well, the thing is, same deal with my house. I bought my house in 2009. We paid 115 grand for it. It's just a simple Rambler. And again, same scenario. It's well over worth double. But the thing about it is, so Beth and I looked at it and we're like, well, we could move, we could get this, we could get that. But you know what would be nice? And you're not as far in as us. No mortgage.
Well, I think we're only like.
Oh, Matt's checking and he's saying, just want to thank Zach for coming out last week for the motive race. Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Matt, it was cool to see you. And you were super fast. So you got me wrong. I don't think.
Dude, this last year, well, can't really say in mod, but in 21.5, is 21.5 or 25.5 touring car at dollar. Matt was, I don't know how he finished, but last year Matt was like scratching at a podium. This year he TQ'd a class. Like he's figured something freaking out.
Well, and I will say, I didn't put him a lap down.
That's good.
So I have to rescind that, but I did out-qualify him.
Yeah.
But he was hot on my tail. So yeah, let's keep moving.
A couple more things.
Housing market.
Yeah, beach moving. It sucks, but I bet they'll survive just fine. The Drakes are taking over Thunder Alley in California. It looks like they have a whole huge committee behind them. So that's awesome. Thunder Alley was going to I don't know. I think it's on a park or something. It had to be done through like City Hall and all that other junk. But yeah, the Drakes are taking over Thunder Alley. So
I
that's
think
good for
that's
the
a good retirement plan for him.
it's great for California A scale racing. That's what it's
Yeah,
good
too.
for. Speaking of California, Chase Ehrlich from Racecraft, he was on earlier tonight from Racecraft and the Wheel and Trigger podcast. He's going to be joining Katie Roxbury on the Techno social media team.
Nice. I
Cam
assume
is
Chase
wondering,
runs Techno.
huh?
Does
Katie,
Chase run Techno?
yeah, he does now after the whole HB debacle.
Oh man.
Yeah. Cam is wondering, did a church want to buy Thunder Alley too? No. And I'll tell you, I'm sure we've talked about that, but that was a total power move because the church never moved into the OCRC location.
Is it just empty?
Yeah. So I didn't realize how
Nice.
big their Jacob, when is it? Maybe. So last thing I got, Kyosho. It looks like they're coming back to 110 scale racing again after being off for a long time. The last thing, huh?
I don't know. I feel like Kyosho is so like I don't understand what they're doing with the brand.
When they take a break and they come back, it works well. The weekend of the 20s. Oh, this weekend? No, Jacob, we can't this weekend. Man, that's a bummer. But what I was gonna say is, so when they came back to competitive 110 scale off-road racing back in the late 2000s to early 2010s, when they had the 5 series, like the RB5, the Wheeler, the ZX5, and all that other junk, and they had their iterations through that. I want to say the RB5 was a rear motor, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, it was a phenomenal car. And I don't know if you've ever built a Kyosho, but they build so freaking nice. They really
So they
do.
have this. They did the 6.
They did the 6 and the 6.6. The 6 was all right. I want to say I had the Wheeler of the 6. It was all right. It was good. It was competitive. And it's like the 6.6, it just really fell off really hard. It's kind of like they ain't developed it far enough, kind of like the Techno 4-wheel buggy. It's like they start out with something really, and well, it's like the Awesomatics. You start out with something really good, and same with Associated, and you just don't, you take a wrong turn or you don't go far enough. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if it works. They have a tall hill to climb to try to get past X-Ray right now. That's going to be. Oof.
I think X-Ray and Associated are duking it out right now.
They are. Dude, speaking of, holy crap! Did you see X-Ray came out with a 5-gear transmission?
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Yeah,
They said it was better.
they're wrong.
It says right on the press release.
It's got to be 100% modified thing. It has to be 100% modified.
I don't know.
Jeremiah is saying that a Gamma 10 scale buggy looks sweet. It does, but they don't have anybody to drive it and develop it.
So I don't know. The thing is, I don't think anybody tried a 5-gear with the 6.4.
You're right.
So
No, they did. You know they did. And you know what?
Okay.
It was good. The wheel speed conversion for the 6.4 was awesome. It really was.
And that was a 5-gear?
That was a 5-gear, but it was geared differently. And what Will Speed did was they cut a little notch in the chassis, so like the transmission was like inside of the chassis almost.
Mm.
So Dwayne says the 5 gear has been out since the 25 car was released. I
Well,
don't.
that's like, it might have been, because I'll give you an example of
Okay.
another part that was the same way, and I thought I bought the wrong part.
Okay.
So the progressive shocks for the touring car,
Yep.
I used the manual to order the part, and I assumed it was the right part because it was in the manual. I didn't check. I guess
Sure.
it was a bonehead thing. I don't know. I checked it on 2 parts lists, and it was, there. And so I didn't bother reading the header card because I didn't use them yet. They were just in my box. And then I see X-Ray has an official press release for the release of these progressive pistons and the sleeves. I'm like, son of a bitch, I bought the wrong ones, and they're gonna be, and they're not gonna be used. You can't use the 24s and the 25s, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm freaking out. And so I get my box of stuff out, and I placed another order today. I broke some stuff I got to replace.
Yeah.
When you send the car off the track, stuff happens.
Yes.
Whoops. But so I looked at the part number, and the description, it said it was for my car, the right ones. And then I looked and compared it to the part number that they did the press release for. And then I looked on the manual, and it was all right. And then so I sent a team driver a message that I was talking to, and I was like, "Hey, are these the right? Is this right for my
Yeah.
shocks?" And he goes, "Yeah, they're right." I was
Huh.
like, "Okay, well, they just got released, and it mind fucked me."
Okay. So Cam's saying you could get the 5 gear before the car got here for the first batch. They just did a flyer for it now. So yeah, that makes sense.
Well, they got to keep generating content.
And again,
It's all about
you're
that content.
you're right. It's got to be a mod thing. I mean, Cam's a stock guy, but to me, it's got to be a mod thing.
It could be too much weight transfer with I don't know. It could be too much weight transfer.
Yeah.
They
Well,
had that one company was using like a forward drive rear with a 2-wheel drive front, and it moved the motor forward but used the shaft of
oh,
the real. I don't remember what that was though. It was
oh,
like on the Losi.
yeah. Vision. Vision was the
Okay.
one who did that.
And apparently it was pretty good in
Yeah.
certain conditions. I don't know what happened to all that, but I feel like that could be something we could look at, and we just haven't. Like, the chassis layout for 2-wheel drive's been the same forever, and I don't know if it's an efficiency thing. I don't know any of that, but
Yeah. I don't know. I say screw it. We should all just run an orb. Do you even know what an orb is?
Oh, is it a
Hold on.
touring car?
No. Okay,
All
I'm
right.
gonna pull it up and then we're gonna end on that because you don't know what an
Oh
orb
my
is.
goodness. I'm glad we can end on this high point of my life.
Yep. Oh man. It won't let me do it. Oh, here, let's see if this will work. Yeah. Oh nope, it just did it.
Oh wow, that's so good, Joe.
Yeah, no. It's a dumb car where they have the transmission in the front and the rear tires on the front and the front tires on the rear, and it's a trailing arm. It's insanely dumb. Do you think they will move the motor back for the Worlds? I bet you'll see some really interesting things, Jacob. I bet, yeah, I bet they'll do things because that Australian track is way different.
So based off of 3 people in Australia, I'm gonna say they're not gonna do a rear motor car.
No, but they can move it farther back and they can make the transmission a stand-up.
I think they'll do that.
Yeah.
Because the stand-up generates more grip, right?
Yes, but you still have some of the rotation as a regular mid motor.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, Jacob, it is an outdoor loose dirt track, but I think that they have a handle on it. I think a lot of those Florida guys are going to be giving a lot of information to their teams and whatnot. So
Well, you got for Associated, Spencer went out there for their national race, and then you have Lachlan and Jared that are
yep.
both really good drivers out in Australia. And I'm sure there's other ones. I just don't know of them. That run for Associated and do really well at that track.
Yeah. I want to say they're going to have one more race before the Worlds, and it's going to be huge.
Probably.
So anyway, we'll end on that. Yeah. So thanks for doing a episode, and I'm Joe Zer Jr., and with me was my co-host Zach Donathan, and we have ran out of